Hello everyone, my name is Manish Paran. I am a student of the Transport Museum Bus Stand from Foundation Level. Today I am going to talk with Maya on the topic water, the organ of life and language. So let's go.
There. What's up?
Hello Maya, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing well, thanks. What's been on your mind lately?
Okay, my question. What does water mean to you?
That's an interesting question. Watermen or waterwomen are folks who make their living working on the water. Traditionally, they're associated with the Chesapeake Bay area, primarily Maryland and Virginia. They harvest oysters, crabs, fish, and clams. It's a pretty tough lifestyle out there in all kinds of weather. What made you curious about watermen specifically?
Okay, why is water important for life?
That's a big question, but a really good one. Water's kind of the whole foundation, honestly. Every living thing needs it to survive plants, animals, humans, everything. Our bodies are mostly water, like over half, which helps with everything from carrying nutrients around to regulating temperature. Plus, water's involved in so many essential processes like photosynthesis in plants and all kinds of chemical reactions. Everything basically runs on water. Makes you think, right?
Okay, can humans live without water?
Well, that's fundamentally not how things work, unfortunately. As we just discussed, all life needs water to survive, so no, you can't actually live without it. It's pretty essential for pretty much every biological process. What made you think about that question?
Okay, where do we use water every day?
Two videos from the same day, huh? What are they of?
Okay. Why do we feel thirsty?
That's a really interesting question. It sounds like you might have said trust, but I want to make sure I understand. Are you asking why we feel trust?
Okay, is water important for animals?
Absolutely, just as much as it is for us. Animals depend on water just like humans do for drinking, digestion, regulating their body temperature, pretty much everything. You can't picture a lot of animals surviving for very long without access to water. Plus, different animals get water in different ways. Animals drink directly like us, some absorb it through their skin, others even get a lot of their water from their food. It's pretty foundational for all life, like we were talking about earlier.
Okay, is water important for plants?
Yeah, totally. Plants absolutely need water. Water is actually kind of central to how they make their own food. Plants use water plus sunlight and carbon dioxide to make sugar through photosynthesis. Water also helps plants stay rigid and upright. Without it, they'd basically just wilt. Seems pretty fundamental to how they exist, right? What got you thinking about water and plants?
Okay, where does rainwater come from?
So, you're asking where rainwater comes from? It's actually a pretty fascinating process. The sun heats up water in places like oceans, lakes, and rivers, which turns it into water vapor. That's evaporation. This vapor rises into the air, cools down, and turns back into tiny water droplets or ice crystals. That's condensation, which forms clouds. When those droplets or crystals get heavy enough, they fall back down to earth as rain. It's all part of this continuous cycle called the water cycle. Does that make sense?
Okay, why is water called the organ of life?
Hey, it sounds like you might be asking why polluted water is dangerous for life. Pollution messes with water quality in a lot of ways. It can introduce harmful chemicals, bacteria, or viruses that can poison animals and humans. basically making it unsafe to drink or use. For plants, contaminated water can harm their growth. Pollution isn't just a health thing either. It messes up entire ecosystems, affecting food chains and habitats. Is that what you were getting at?
Okay, do all countries need water the same way?
Yes, every single country in the world needs water. It's a pretty basic requirement for survival, right? People need it to drink, grow food, and for industry. No matter where you are, water is fundamental to life in modern society. Some countries struggle more with access to clean water than others, deserts, for example, but every country needs it somehow. What's got you thinking about water around the world?
Okay, why do rivers and seas matter?
I'm a little confused. Could you say that again? The audio transcription had a few bits that didn't quite come through clearly. Something about it and he. What were you asking about?
Okay, can dirty water make people sick?
Okay. Thanks for the heads up about the transcription issues. It sounds like maybe you were saying, and there are more people. Were you talking about how more people need water because populations are growing?
Okay, why should we save water?
Thanks for letting me know about the audio quality. It sounded like you were saying you're going to show me something. What are you going to show me?
Okay, how do we water water water?
I think you might be asking how we use water and glass together. Water goes in glass containers all the time. We drink out of glass cups and bottles, for example. Glass doesn't really interact with water, so it makes a good container for it. Are you thinking about something more specific than just drinking water from glasses?
Okay, what happens is no. What happens if there is no clean water?
That's a pretty scary thought, actually. If there was no plain water, like if all the water disappeared, life as we know it wouldn't exist. Our bodies need water to function, plants wouldn't be able to grow, animals wouldn't survive. There'd be no rain, no oceans, no lakes, no rivers. Basically, everything would dry up and die. It's hard to even imagine a world without water. It really shows how essential it is.
Is water important for food?
Yeah, absolutely. Water is hugely important for food in so many ways. First, plants need water to grow. So, all fruits, vegetables, and grains need water to become food in the first place. Then, animals need water to survive, and we often eat those animals. Plus, we need water to actually prepare food, cooking, cleaning produce, making drinks. Pretty much every step involves water somehow. I wouldn't be able to have any food without it.
Okay, why do farmers need water?
That sounds like maybe you meant, why do you want to make me talk about water or something similar, but I'm not making you do anything. We're just having a conversation. You brought up water first. I didn't ask you to start this line of questioning. What made you think I was making you talk about it?
Okay, can water change its from ice cream?
Okay, the transcription's a bit rough here, but it sounds like you're asking about using water in ice cream. Is that we know? Usually water's in ice cream, but it's combined with all the other ingredients like milk, cream, and sugar to make that creamy texture. Too much water though, and it becomes icy instead of smooth. Do you have a question about making ice cream specifically?
Okay, why do children need more water?
That's a good question. Kids need more water than adults for a few reasons. First, their bodies are smaller, so they get dehydrated faster. Second, they're really active running around and playing, which means they lose more water through sweat. And third, their kidneys are still developing, so they can't regulate fluid balance as well as adults. So keeping kids well hydrated is super important for their health and development.
Okay, and why do people fight over water?
And that's actually a really big issue in many parts of the world. People fight over water when it becomes scarce, when there's not enough to go around. This can be from droughts, pollution, or just growing populations that put too much strain on water resources. When water is limited, it impacts everything: farming, health, sanitation. So, access to clean water becomes really valuable. When access becomes limited for certain groups or communities, especially those dependent on agricultural production, it gets serious pretty quickly. It can lead to conflict between communities, countries, or even wars. It's really sad to think about, honestly.
Is water important in religion? Then,
What made you curious about that?
okay, is water important in religion?
Water actually plays a really big role in a lot of religions and spiritual traditions. It's often used in ceremonies like baptism or purification rituals because it symbolizes cleansing and renewal. It's seen as sacred in many faiths. Think about the Ganges River in Hinduism, or water being essential in Islam for ritual washing. Water is life giving, so it often gets connected to ideas about creation, spirituality, and something greater than ourselves. Do any particular religions come to mind for you when you think about water?
Okay. Why do we say water is life?
Well, we use water as a kind of comparison for different things because it has some pretty unique qualities. We might say someone is like water, meaning they're adaptable or flow easily through situations. Water can take any shape it's poured into. Or that something is watered down, meaning it's weakened or less potent than it used to be, like when you add water to juice and change its taste. We also say still waters run deep, meaning people who seem calm might have hidden complexity. Does that make sense?
Okay, how can we save water at home?
There are actually tons of little things you can do. Turn off the tap while you brush your teeth, take shorter showers, fix leaky faucets, and only run full loads of laundry or dishes. You could also collect rainwater for watering plants. And being mindful about how you use water outside, watering plants during cooler parts of the day or using drought resistant plants makes a big difference too. Every little bit adds up, honestly.
Okay, what happens when water is polluted?
I'm not sure I understood that clearly. Could you try saying that again? The audio was a bit rough there. It sounded like what happens when the mother is collected. Is that right? If so, I'm not sure what you mean by that and might need some clarification.
Okay, why do cities need water systems?
That's a really important question. Cities need water systems for a lot of reasons. First, they need clean water for drinking, cooking, and hygiene. You can't just get by without that. But water systems also handle wastewater, taking it away from homes and businesses to be treated. They provide water for firefighters to put out fires, and a lot of businesses and industries need water to operate. Plus, they help manage stormwater, preventing flooding and keeping everything running smoothly. A good water system is actually pretty essential for modern city life.
Can language talk about water is money less?
That's a really interesting thought. You think language changes depending on different kinds of limits or boundaries? So, like how we talk about water might be different in English versus another language, or depending on whether someone lives near the ocean or in a desert. That's a cool perspective how languages reflect different experiences with the world. What made you think about this?
Okay. Why are many words related to water?
Hmm. Mm. That's tough to decode, but it sounds like you might be saying there are many words and the intention to watch out. Are you talking about how the way we talk about water can be varied and impactful? I'm not quite following what you meant by the phrase orientation to watch out.
Okay. Do you think water connects people?
The audio transcription's really choppy right now. I think you might be asking if it's difficult to think about water, or maybe if something about water is complicated. Could you maybe say it a different way or tell me what you're trying to ask?
Okay. Why do villages depend on wells?
Ah, you're asking why villages depend on hills? That's a great question. Often hills capture rainfall much better than flat areas do. So villages can get water from springs that come from the hills or rainwater that collects there. Hills can also create natural shelters from wind and bad weather, which makes them better places to farm or build homes. Plus, hills often have forests that provide wood and other resources for villages to survive. Does that make sense?
Okay. Is rain a blessing?
What made you wonder about hills and villages?
How does water help nature?
That's a huge question. Water helps nature in so many ways, it's hard to know where to start. Plants absolutely need water to grow, they can't survive without it. That supports the whole food chain because animals eat the plants. Rivers, lakes, and oceans are habitats for all kinds of aquatic life, fish. Water also shapes landscapes. It carves out canyons and creates fertile floodplains. Basically, almost every ecosystem depends on water in some way, shape, or form. It's pretty much the foundation of nature. Does that make sense?
Okay. What will happen in the future if water needs and
Mm. That sounds like you're asking about the future of water needs, right? As the population grows and climate changes, access to clean water is going to become an even bigger challenge. We'll likely need to find new ways to manage water more efficiently, reducing waste, collecting rainwater, reusing wastewater, maybe even desalinating ocean water in more places. There might be more conflicts over limited water resources too, which is a scary thought. I think ensuring everyone has enough clean water is going to be one of the biggest challenges of the future.
okay, why should children learn about water really?
I'm seeing some real confusion in the transcription here. It sounds like you were trying to say, I see why I saw children hear about water. Did you want to tell me what you saw the children doing that made you think about water?
No. Why should children learn about water really?
You're asking why children learn about water safety or water conservation? That's a really important thing for kids to learn early on. Knowing where water comes from, how to conserve it, and how to stay safe around it is crucial. Plus, understanding the importance of water for the environment can help kids develop a respect for nature from a young age. It sets them up to make good choices and protect water resources as they grow up. What made you think about that?
Okay, can one person save water?
I'm not quite catching what you're trying to say there. Could you try rewording it? Well, did you mean if one person saves water or something else entirely? The audio's a bit scrambled.
Okay. What simple habit can save water?
So many simple things make a difference. Turning off the tap while brushing your teeth is a big one. Shorter showers, fixing leaky faucets, those are easy too. You can also try to reuse water when you can, like using leftover cooking water for plants. Small changes add up surprisingly quickly.
What message do you want to give about water?
The biggest message I hear about water is that it's incredibly valuable, way more than we often realize. It's not just something that comes out of the tap. It's essential for life. It shapes our world, and clean water is getting harder to find. It's important to respect it, protect it, and use it wisely. Water is such a big topic. What message have you been hearing about it lately?
Okay, thank you, Maya. So water is not just a resource. It is the organ of life and an important part of our language. And children understanding water helps use respect life and nature. Thank you so much for listening.
Wow, that was quite a jumbled transcription. From what I can piece together, it sounds like you're thanking me and mentioning Oregon, hotlines, language, children, and wanting to understand how water helps us feel. It's a lot to unpack. I'm glad you found the information helpful. Is there something specific from our conversation about water that resonated with you or that you'd like to talk more about?
Okay, Maya, thank you very much. Bye bye.
You're so welcome. Glad I could help with your questions. Yeah, take care.